The year is 1807, and the Serbian Uprising has reached its peak. The rebels have captured the largest city of their Pashaluk, Belgrade. The Serbs now decide to push the uprising in two directions, toward the Drina and Bosnia, and toward Negutin, where on the Danube they will once again face the Ottomans. There, new problems and great battles await them. Milenko Stojković was the first to set out toward the Danube with around 30 men, determined to break through Ottoman lines and establish direct contact with Russian forces. On his way he secured Porech, but his attempt to take Negutin failed, forcing him to retreat toward the village of Štubik. There, realizing the danger of a counterattack, he fortified his positions with ditches, palisades, and earthworks, determined to hold at any cost. The Ottoman commander of Vidin, Mula Pasha, soon learned of the Serbian presence in the Krajina and gathered between 50 and 80 troops, supported by notorious Karađaliha mercenaries under Ali Gušenac. By May 1807, the Ottomans launched their offensive, forcing Milenko and his men into their trenches at Štubik and surrounding them. At the same time, Ottoman forces entrenched themselves at Malajnica, tightening the noose. The plan, aided by a French officer named Mariash, was not to storm recklessly, but to starve the Serbs into submission. Inside the trenches, the situation grew dire. The defenders faced constant harassment, with musket fire and skirmishes day and night. Food supplies ran out, water was scarce, and the men grew weak. Yet, morale held, for Milenko reminded his soldiers that they were fighting not only for survival but to open the road to their Russian allies. Many swore they would rather die behind the ramparts than surrender. Meanwhile, Karađorđe received word of Milenko's plight. Abandoning his offensive toward Bosnia, he turned east, gathering about 500 men from Smederevo and Groka. When his army reached Štubik in mid-June, the effect was immediate. Serbian morale soared, songs were sung from the trenches, and the Ottomans realized that the rebels were far from beaten. But the Ottomans counterattacked fiercely. Even after daring Serbian charges, the arrival of fresh forces from Vidin struck the Serbian right flank and drove them back to their starting positions. Still, Karađorđe refused to yield. On June 5th, he ordered a new assault. In brutal hand-to-hand combat, the Serbs forced open a gap and rescued Milenko from encirclement. On the Malajnica front, Halil Gušenac's men found themselves nearly overrun, with Serbian fire cutting deeper into their defences every day. The front line now stretched into a stalemate, with neither side willing to withdraw. At this critical point, the long-awaited Russian help finally arrived. General Isaev crossed the Danube with around 10 troops, 600 infantry of the seasoned Olonets battalion, 200 Cossacks, and 200 Serbian and Russian volunteers. Their disciplined ranks, gleaming bayonets, and battle experience filled the Serbian rebels with new hope. Milenko himself rode out with 300 horsemen to greet them, forging the first open bond of alliance on Serbian soil. The meeting was symbolic, Orthodox brothers in arms preparing to strike together at their common enemy. On June 30th, Isaev and Karađorđe personally inspected the Ottoman fortifications. Their plan was daring, a coordinated dawn attack, with Russian artillery paving the way. At first light on July 1st, thunder echoed across the Danube Valley as Russian cannons roared against Mula Pasha's camp. Smoke and fire rained on the Ottoman trenches, sowing confusion. Then, under the cover of this bombardment, Milenko Stojković with 500 Branicevic, Vuhika Vulicevic with 600 Smederevic, the Olonets infantry, the Cossacks, and Serbian volunteers surged forward. The assault was ferocious. Rebels stormed into the enemy lines and vicious hand-to-hand fighting broke out. Bayonets clashed, sabers flashed, and the cries of men echoed across the fields. Many Ottoman soldiers panicked, abandoning their positions as Serbian infantry and Russian allies carved through their ranks. Karađorđe unleashed his cavalry, which swept across the plain, cutting down fugitives and turning retreat into chaos. Mula Pasha himself was struck and badly wounded, barely escaping on horseback toward Vidin. Ali Gušenac too was forced to retreat with what remained of his mercenaries. When the battle ended, the Ottomans had lost over 500 dead and another 1,000 wounded. On the Serbian side, about 200 had fallen, while Russian casualties numbered around 130. The victory at Štubik and Malajnica carried immense significance. It was the first time Serbian and Russian blood had been shed together in the fight for freedom. Karađorđe hailed the Russians as true brothers, and the alliance born in those days would echo far beyond 1807. Not only did it strengthen the Serbian position in the uprising, but it also marked the beginning of a broader diplomatic and military partnership that tied the fate of the Serbian Revolution to the great power struggles of Europe. For the Serbian rebels, this triumph was more than a battlefield success. It was proof that their struggle was part of something greater, a fight in which their sacrifice would be remembered alongside that of their allies. And though the uprising would face grave challenges in the years ahead, the story of Štubik and Malajnica lived on as a symbol of defiance, unity, and the unbreakable will to be free. Marked a turning point in the Serbian struggle for independence. They demonstrated that determination, careful planning, and unity could overcome even the most formidable foes. Beyond the immediate military victory, these engagements strengthened local confidence, inspired surrounding communities, and forged a model of collaboration that would guide future campaigns. The courage displayed on those fields became a lasting legacy, a testament to the power of strategy combined with resolve, and a reminder that freedom requires both bravery and foresight. Yet the greatest weight of these victories lay not in the numbers or the ground gained, but in the blood that was shed together. For the first time, Russian soldiers fell beside Serbian rebels, their sacrifice uniting two struggles into one and lifting the uprising beyond the bounds of a local revolt. That shared loss gave the Serbian fight a new dignity. It became part of a broader struggle that crossed borders and tied nations in brotherhood. From Štubik and Malajnica onward, the Serbian cause bore the mark of international solidarity, proof that freedom defended together could never again be fought for alone. With victories blazing across their banners and allies now at their side, the insurgents stood at the very height of the First Uprising, their dream of liberation closer than ever before.